What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Okay, so today we have just a regular situation in one of remote Russian cities. Nothing extraordinary. So long story short, what happened is that one guy was standing, waiting for the door to be opened, and then suddenly he saw a young boy who was wearing a black hat with the Z symbol. So the guy was like, hey bro, take this off, this is ridiculous, like you're young, why do you support the war? Things like this. So I mean, yeah, he was using a little bit explicit words, but nothing more than this. No physical threats, nothing like this. Then the father of this boy arrived, they had a conversation, the father even said that, well, I did not give him his hat, probably he bought it himself, something like this, right? So he was not even defending his son. And long story short, apparently whenever this story became public, the guy who was speaking against young kids wearing war symbols, he got prosecuted. He got 3 years in jail. So not for threatening people, not for speaking violence against young guys, young boys, forever, like right this line, but because he was doing hooliganistic actions against a specific social group while discrediting the Z army. So I mean, yes, stealing billions, well, it's okay, like don't worry about it. Saying no to war, no, this is already, you have a jail time. Well, if you may be drunk driving and then you become a volunteer to go to Ukraine, that's okay, like, we can ignore the fact that you are drunk driving. Saying to the kid that remove the hat, you go to jail. This is your Russian criminal system. And speaking about hats and just merchandise in general, since the Father's Day is literally around the corner, we decided to have the biggest, the most generous promotion for our brand new merch. I mean, just take a look at them, new hoodies, new t-shirts, and we were even able to get Adidas hats, because true Slavs, they love Adidas. And if you ever wondered how the Russian dude sounds in Russian, well, it is Ruski Patan. So if you decide to buy this t-shirt, for example, this will leave the patriots pretty bamboozled. Why does it say Russian dude, but it is in Ukrainian flag colors? I personally think this is the best way to troll them. And here is this magnificent deal I was talking about. Right now you can buy any hoodie from our store, and yes, even this one, literally any hoodie, and you will get any t-shirt completely for free. That's right, so just don't forget to use the code NEW06 during checkout and get your t-shirt completely for free with the purchase of any hoodie. But just please hurry up while the supplies last. The link to our store at russiandude.com is down below. Thanks so much, happy Father's Day, and now let's continue. Right, the very first thing I want to talk about is these brand new conditions presented by Putin, or I would even better say ultimatum, how he says that if Ukraine accepts them, we will end the war right here and right now. So let's talk about this ridiculousness right now. Long story short, Vladimir Putin did some kind of a press conference in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, and he was answering questions, presenting his statements. And long story short, this is what he said. The war between Russia and Ukraine was not started neither by Russia nor Ukraine. It was started by the West. At the same time, the Z army never had any plans to ever enter the capital of Ukraine, Kiev. The only reason why Russian soldiers were so close to the capital, it was just to force Ukraine to negotiate. And even though just literally a couple of minutes before Putin said that it was the West who started this special military operation, then he proceeds by saying that it is actually Ukraine that started the war by attacking people in Luhansk and Donetsk regions. And because of this, the West saw a perfect opportunity to divide and conquer Russia. Well, that is why, according to Putin, Russia is defending itself while being in Ukraine. Speaking more about Luhansk and Donetsk, those regions, they wanted to call independence from Ukraine, but Ukraine did not let them do it. That is why also another reason why Russia had to help them quote-unquote. And then Putin proceeds with his new so-called peace formula, his new conditions. Why would Russia stop war immediately right here and right now? First of all, he did mention that every statement must be made in writing and agreed upon by both sides, and every single sanction against Russia should be dropped. The second thing is that Ukraine must cancel all of its plans about joining NATO, and the thing number 3 is that the Ukrainian army, should leave every single occupied territory right now in Ukraine. So basically he's saying that Ukrainians should leave Kherson region, Zaporozhye region, Donetsk and Luhansk regions. He's literally saying, we came to your land, to your country, you must leave it, give your territories to us. Make it legitimate territories of the new Russia, not joining any alliances, remove every single sanction against Russia, and then we will allow you to retreat. This is literally the peace formula by Putin. Like, it is just complete nonsense. Like, whenever you want to achieve peace, every single side needs to compromise, right? So my question is, what are the things that Russia is offering to Ukraine besides letting Ukrainian army peacefully retreat? This just does not make sense. This is ridiculous. Obviously, neither Ukrainians nor the West said that we will ever accept this. We're not even going to discuss this nonsense. This is an ultimatum, not a peace formula. Guess what? The Russian propaganda immediately said, look at this, Russia is ready for negotiations. Putin once again said that he's open for conversation. It is Ukrainians who do not want peace. It is Zelensky who wants to eliminate as many civilians of his own country as possible. Because, I mean, just take a look at this map. Approximately 26,000 square kilometers is what Putin wants Ukraine literally to gift him without giving anything. I mean, no, that's it. I'm too tired to even talk about this clownship, so there it is. Right, now let's talk about, I would say maybe equally ridiculous thing, is that another deputy of Gerasimov, the chief of staff of Russia, he was recently arrested. The guy we're talking about is the General Shamarin, who was the head of the so-called communications department. And you know what? This arrest, the purge inside Kremlin, inside the Ministry of Defense continues, right? But this arrest made me realize something. If you remember the ex-minister of, of course you remember the ex-minister of Defense of Russia, Sergei Shoigu. First it was his deputies who were getting arrested, and then he got quote-unquote the promotion. And Sergei Shoigu is a funny guy, but he is more influential than Valery Gerasimov. This is out of the question. And this is precisely why Sergei Shoigu was able to get this promotion, quote-unquote, instead of drinking a Russian tea on the top floor of the high-rise building, literally next to an open window. But on the other hand, Gerasimov went completely silent for the last several months. There are literally zero big or even medium news about him, even in the Russian propaganda. The guy just is completely absent from the Russian politics. And his deputies at the same time, they start to be arrested. And so the main question of this particular story is whether Valery Gerasimov will also receive a quote-unquote Russian-style promotion, or whether he will be invited to a all-you-can-eat picnic with Russian desserts, Russian tea, obviously happening on the roof of a building. Guys, let me know down below in the comments what do you think is gonna happen with Gerasimov. And ultimately, let me give you a brief update from the front lines. We're gonna talk about the Z army being literally devastated in Kharkiv. And guys, usually I would make it a Patreon exclusive chapter, but not today. Today this chapter is free for all of you because we are releasing our brand new merch, so I wanted to do something good for you in return. So, long story short, let's continue watching. Don't worry, everything is for free, but still, if you want to see the episode fully uncensored, if you want to continue receiving these videos in early access, hundreds of extra footage, all of this is available on my Patreon, as always. The link to my Patreon is down below. And so yeah, we begin with some very loud noises from Morozovsk airfield located on the territory of Russia. At first, the Russian propaganda did not say, well, it was nothing extraordinary, just the work of the air defense. But the locals said that these noises came from once again, the airfield where Russian military jets, Sus, were located. Apparently, later we received some of these satellite images which show that some of the planes were damaged or potentially even destroyed, so no wonder the Z propaganda went silent. In response to that, Russia did their favorite thing by attacking the territory of Ukraine, primarily residential areas, as you can see from this map. On the next map you can see the routes that the missiles and drones were taking. But Ukrainian air defense was pretty good, intercepting half of Russian missiles, 7 out of 14, and every single 17 Russian Shahed drones. In Shebekino, located in Belgorod region, looks like that Russians once again accidentally dropped a FAB and almost fully destroyed one of residential buildings. Which, by the way, why did I assume that this was Russian? Because usually Russians take opportunities like this to blame Ukrainians immediately. They say, look at this, these Ukrainians attacking civilian neighborhoods. Not this time. This time Z propaganda also completely ignored this fact, which basically allows a lot of people, not just me, to assume that Russians acknowledged that it was them. Most likely it was an unfortunate event, it was an accident, but it was Russians nevertheless. In Avdiivka, there was a very big assault attempt by Russians. They used at least 16 different kinds of armored military vehicles. Ukrainians were able to successfully repel all of this attack, destroying majority of these vehicles. And in Vovchansk, Russians tried to relocate some part of their infantry from one place to another. So that they were discovered by a Ukrainian drone, and then the next one carried a surprise for them, so that's why the entire infantry fighting vehicle was destroyed as well. Along Kharkiv front line, Ukrainians did a small localized counteroffensive against settlement Glovokia, and they were able to use the combination of the infantry advancing and storming the Russian positions, along with the drones. This small counteroffensive was relatively successful. And speaking about Kharkiv, the situation for the Z army is truly devastating. Here is the video from the Z soldier himself. This is not Ukrainian propaganda or anything, no, this is a real person along the front lines. He's saying that Ukrainians are defending so good, we cannot do anything, though our commanders, they constantly tell us to say, they all constantly say us, move forward, we don't care, you have to do it. That is why, as a result of one of the most recent offensive attempts that Russians did, 5 of the soldiers were eliminated even before they left their own base, and they literally were able to pass several hundred meters before turning around and running. So, well, as you can see, this is the situation, this is the condition of the Russian offensive in Kharkiv front line. This is a total failure. Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, helps a lot with the algorithm. Don't forget about our brand new merch and huge promotion. Buy any hoodie, get any t-shirt completely for free. Use the code NEW06 during the checkout. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Every single link is down below, and see you on Tuesday.
Smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye, make you laugh and make you cry. He's a master of the balalaika.